The real reason why Ronda Rousey lost her SmackDown Women's Championship to Liv Morgan at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view has been revealed. So at the pay-per-view, Ronda Rousey took on Natalya. Ronda Rousey ended up beating Natalya after she put her in the ankle lock and Natalya tapped out. It was a very strong victory for Ronda Rousey, and her fans were very excited that she would be able to leave the pay-per-view as champion. But just as Ronda Rousey was about to celebrate, Liv Morgan ran down to the ring with her Money in the Bank briefcase. Earlier in the night, Liv Morgan won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which means it gave her an opportunity to cash in on any champion of her choosing. And even though Liv Morgan is on the Raw brand, she chose to cash in on the SmackDown Women's Champion. And she's allowed to do that. It's a champion of your choosing when you're Miss Money in the Bank. So Ronda was shocked when Liv Morgan came down to the ring with her briefcase. Ronda couldn't believe that Liv was actually going to try and cash in on her. It was a very grueling match for Ronda, so she was not 100%. So Liv saw an opportunity to cash in and win the championship. But immediately, Ronda Rousey caught Liv Morgan in the ankle lock, and it looked like it was going to be a failed cash-in for Liv. But then Liv was able to get out of the ankle lock and then rolled up Ronda Rousey, and she got the 1-2-3 to defeat her. And it was a successful Money in the Bank cash-in, which meant that Ronda Rousey lost her SmackDown Women's Championship to Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan is now champion. But after this happened, fans wondered, why did this happen? Why did Ronda Rousey, one of the top female stars in all of wrestling, get cashed in on? And why did WWE allow this? Well, according to a late-breaking rumor, this all occurred because the SmackDown Women's division was severely lacking in female star power. Yes, they had a lot of NXT call-ups like Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, but they didn't have the big star power like the Raw Women's division has. Of course, they have Becky Lynch, they have Asuka, Bianca Belair, so they needed to move Liv Morgan over to SmackDown, and instead of just Liv Morgan showing up on SmackDown one day, or her being traded to SmackDown, let's have her win the SmackDown title so she can now go over to SmackDown and she can feud with Ronda Rousey. So to begin the feud, they had Liv Morgan defeat Ronda Rousey for the championship. This way, Ronda can try and get her revenge on Liv and try to get her title back. And the rumor goes on to say that the plan currently is to have Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan at SummerSlam on July 30th. But as of right now, Ronda Rousey unfortunately comes out of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view losing her SmackDown Women's Championship. And the question is, can she get it back? The identity of the wrestler who appeared in a mysterious vignette at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view has been revealed. During an ad break on the pay-per-view, a dark and mysterious vignette played where we saw different quick cuts of things like an Olympic gold medal, a pair of glasses, a license plate that said Latino Heat, and crosses. And this looked to be some type of vignette for a new wrestler. Who could this be? Is it a returning wrestler? Is it a wrestler who is still in the company and they're just going to be repackaged into some kind of dark supernatural character? Is it a NXT call-up? Is it somebody coming from AEW? And this was one of the most talked about things at the pay-per-view because people wondered, what is this all about and which wrestler is this? And when the pay-per-view went off the air, the identity of this wrestler came out. When fans first saw this, they immediately thought it was the return of Bray Wyatt. Of course, Bray Wyatt would have vignettes much like this, so they thought it must be Bray Wyatt coming back to the company. But then, as the pay-per-view went off the air, the true identity of the wrestler in this mysterious vignette was revealed. And it's actually somebody who is currently in WWE. They're just going to repackage him. And this wrestler is Edge. Now, Edge was already kind of a supernatural character in the recently formed Judgment Day faction. But then he was kicked out of the faction when Finn Balor joined, and then they beat up Edge and kicked him out. Well, as Edge plans his revenge on Judgment Day for what they did to him, he is now going even more to the dark side. Now, he will be a babyface, but he will still be a supernatural, dark side character. Some of the things that we saw in this vignette, like the Olympic gold medal, that was to signify that Edge had feuded and defeated Kurt Angle. We also saw a pair of glasses. That was to signify Edge's feud with the Dudleys. We saw a pair of gloves. That was supposed to signify his feud with the Hardys. And then probably the thing that got the most talk online was the license plate that said Latino Heat. This was to signify Edge's feud with the late great Eddie Guerrero. And Edge had feuds with all these great WWE legends. Some fans were excited for this new repackaging of Edge. Other fans were disappointed because they wanted it to be the return of Bray Wyatt, or they wanted it to be an NXT call-up. They didn't want just a repackaging of a current WWE wrestler. But overall, fans are excited to find out what this new Edge will be like in WWE. What are your thoughts about Ronda Rousey losing her SmackDown Women's Championship to Liv Morgan? And what are your thoughts about Edge being revealed as the wrestler in the mysterious Money in the Bank vignette? Leave a comment below and give me your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification so you are notified when we upload a new video.